Hey everyone, my name is Courtney Budzyn and this is What's for Din. Today I'm going to be showing you how I make my version of a homemade chicken noodle soup. This is really good for when you don't feel good or if it's just cold outside and you want something to warm up with, it's perfect for that. Now mine's a little bit different in the fact that I used two different ingredients. I added rutabaga and kale. And ever since I made it like that, kind of by accident, the first time, I've made it like that ever since because the flavor is just way better. I don't know what it is, but I like it that way. So let's go over the ingredients further and we will get started. So for the ingredients, as usual, we're gonna need some olive oil, and then I have some vegetables. I have traditional carrots, celery, garlic, onion, and then this is the rutabaga. Whoop, there goes one. If you're not familiar with rutabaga, I'm gonna show you a clip right here, what it looks like. It's a turnip. It has like a waxy outer layer. And it's kind of tough to peel, but what I do is I just take my potato peeler, peel off the outer edges, chop both ends on the ends, chop that off, and then make it into cubes, just like you would like a potato. And it actually tastes a lot like a potato once it's cooked in a soup. So that we have that, and then I have some chicken here. This is a rotisserie chicken I got from the grocery store. You can use chicken left over if you have some chicken stock, some bouillon cubes, some egg noodles, and a little bit of kale. That's my other secret ingredient that I put in. And the reason I did it is because we were sick one day and I was like, you know what, we need some extra vitamins. So I threw it in there and it tasted actually really good. And of course, my traditional seasonings that I use all the time, Italian seasoning, rosemary, and cayenne, and then salt and pepper to taste. So let's go over to the stove and get it cooking. All right, so in my pan, I have my olive oil warmed up, or hot I should say. I'm gonna add all my vegetables all at one time. Ooh, wow, that was hot. And we're just gonna cook these until they're somewhat soft. If you're wondering why my celery has so many leaves on it, it's because I just chopped the whole thing. I don't even cut the leaves off. I think it adds a little bit extra flavor. All right, mix that up. Start sauteing these in the olive oil, and while that's heating up a little bit more, I'm gonna add my salt, pepper. I need to get a new pepper mill, because this thing does not work that great. Some rosemary, Italian seasoning, and of course cayenne. You're probably thinking cayenne and chicken noodle soup. There's something about it. I don't know if you guys know who Food Wishes is, but he is always putting cayenne pepper in every single thing he makes. And I'm like, you know, what's the deal with cayenne? So I tried it, and he's right. It really does make everything taste better. Mix that up. Turn up the heat a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to just cook these until they have a little bit of color developed on them. Okay, our vegetables have developed a slight bit of color. They've softened a lot. So now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and add the chicken. A good mix. Rotisserie chicken, in my opinion, is the best. And if you really want to add a lot of flavor, once you put the chicken broth in, you can take the bones from your chicken and throw them in here, and that'll just really deepen the flavor big time. That'll taste really good. All right, we're gonna add the chicken broth. Add a little bit more in my little thing here. Now you want enough broth to cover the vegetables, so I'm going to add a little bit of water. You need enough broth not only to cover the vegetables, but you need enough so that you're able to cook your noodles, because the noodles are going to absorb a lot of that water or the liquids. Okay, and because my broth was unsalted, I'm just going to add a little bit more salt. Here we go again with the layering of the flavors, or the spices. I'm telling you though, my husband never complains and says, he never says, hey babe, can you get me some salt and pepper? Because he don't need it. Okay. I add one bouillon cube, and then once this comes up to a boil, I taste it and see if I need to add another one for extra chicken flavor. Usually I don't have to, so it depends. So we're just going to let this come up to a boil, turn down the heat, and then let this simmer for about 15-20 minutes. Okay, so at this point, I've tested it. I tested the broth, and I think I need to add a little bit more of the chicken bouillon. I like a really strong chicken taste, so I added one more. And we're also going to see where our vegetables at. And I just kind of grab one out. And the rule of thumb is if it's easy to cut through, it's about done. So that's close to done. So I'm going to throw that back in there, and we're going to put in my egg noodles. Now here's the thing is, like, this looks like it's not that many noodles, but when you put it in the pot, these will expand like crazy, and you'll have a lot of noodles, and you want to make sure that you have broth and noodles. Because if I dump this whole thing in there, there's a chance that it'll be way too many noodles. So let's see how much room we got. Yeah, that's good. So my noodles are in, bouillon cubes in. Let that come up to a simmer. And cook the noodles all the way through, and then we'll add the kale. Okay, my noodles are about halfway done, so I'm just going to go ahead and add the kale now so it wilts enough. And I just take pieces and just make sure there's not tons of stem on it, but I just throw them in there. Even if they're big, they'll wilt down. This adds a lot of vitamins. So if you're making this for someone who's sick, this will give them a jump in vitamins, help their immune system a little bit. I put quite a bit in there because it wilts anyway. And it makes it look pretty. So just throwing that in there. Mix it up. And then we'll keep cooking it until the noodles are nice and tender and soft and all the kale is wilted down. And then we'll serve it up. So our soup's been simmering for about 45 minutes and the noodles are nice and tender now. So we're going to serve it up. Isn't that pretty? Get some of the good stuff and then some broth. Ooh, that's hot. Yowzers. It smells so amazing in this house. If only you could just smell. Someone needs to invent that. Something where you can smell what you're seeing on TV. This may be a while. It's really hot. That is delicioso. I know this is super basic, but it's really good for when you're sick. And I think my 2 ingredients that I added into it do make quite a bit of a difference. So just go to your grocery store. If they don't have rutabaga there, then go to your farmer's market. I'm sure they'll have it somewhere where you live. Because if they have it where I live, where it's really cold, then they definitely have it where you live. So I really appreciate your support. Please subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. The link is in the description box, as well as all the ingredients and measurements I use to make this. And we will see you soon. Thanks for watching.